So if we do that in an organized fashion, we'll build a table. And the table will look something like this. We'll have a column for the phrases, a column for which copies they occurred in, and a column for which copies they didn't occur in. And what you'll see with the example I gave you is that every single piece of this sentence occurs in at least 3 copies. And then you can just read down the overlaps. Jesus knows the absolute worst about me, everything I've ever done behind closed doors. It blows my mind that he's the one that loves me the most. That is, by the way, since this is an intellectual exercise, that is the original sentence that the student gave me, except the student gave me it with a typo and I fixed the typo. So when we had the original, but it had been damaged over time, we weren't very confident that we had any idea what the original said. When we don't have the original, but we have copies, and they were damaged over time, we know what the original said. So it turns out, from a historical preservation perspective, having multiple copies is more valuable than having the original text. So what historians actually care about isn't do we have the original, but what historians care about is how many copies do we have and how close are our copies to the original. So obviously the more time you have, the more opportunity you have for things to change. Okay? So before we talk about the Bible explicitly, I want to talk about what we're dealing with when we talk about antiquity. When we talk about the historical reliability of any of the texts that we study from, let's say, roughly Christ's era or pre-Christ. So, anyone familiar with Socrates? Socrates is a relatively famous philosopher. You could actually get a degree, you could get a PhD in Socratic philosophy. Any guesses on how many copies we have of Socrates' work today?